Hi, good morning. It's Sue from Snake River Stamping. Welcome to my craft room today. I'm glad you could join me. I think I have some really cute things to share with you today that might motivate you with your crafting mojo. And at least I hope so. I really enjoyed making these projects. I was wondering, I try to have a question I can ask you each time I come on. And so I was wondering if you have a favorite item in the spring mini catalog or in the Sale-A-Bration catalog that you've gotten these past 6 weeks or so, since they came out in early January. And if you do, if you want to go to my Facebook page, I will put a little link there where you can share what you like, and if you have any projects, cards, or anything that you've made with those items, we would love to see them and share them on my Facebook pages. It's just Snake River Stamping on Facebook. Today I'm gonna switch the camera down. I got myself in the corner, but I'm always in the corner. So I just am leaving it because I can't figure out how to get it off the corner when I'm on the screen versus when I put the camera down. So let's see, I think this is the right button. Oh, it is the right button. Hallelujah. Okay, so just a reminder, the Sale-A-Bration, which we have going on right now, it's our biggest sale of the year. And you've got 12 more days. It ends on February 28th, so that's a week from this Friday, so 2 more weeks basically. And some of the items I'm going to share with you today are out of stock right now, or on low inventory. I think they're out of stock. I mean, last night they were on low inventory, and this morning when I looked, they're out of stock. But they'll be back in stock next Monday, February 24th. So if there's something, like I'm featuring Everyday Arches today, and I'm going to use it this week and next week with some different things, is a really great bundle. It is out of stock right now because it's such a great bundle. Everybody ordered it, and it will be available next Monday, and my specials run through the 28th also, that I'm gonna share with you. So don't forget about Last Chance Products. It's under the Menu Specials tab, and Online Exclusives, which is under the Menu tab. And don't forget about the joining special. If you would like to join Stampin' Up! And just become a discount shopper, you get a 20% discount on everything you order after that. The offer is you pay $99 and you get $125 worth of product that you get to pick out. Plus you can choose, there's 2 options. Option 1, you get Stampin' Right, 2 packages of Stampin' Right markers, and you pick, there's 4 packages to choose from. Different, there's Regals, the Brights, the Pastels, and something else. Anyway, you get to pick which 2 packages you want, and a special stamp set they have. That's actually a $219 value for your $99. And then the other offer, the second one, is you don't get the markers and the stamp set, but you do get, instead of $125, you get $155 of free product, all of which you choose from any of our catalogs, any of our online specials, any of our online exclusives, whatever, you know. So it's a pretty good deal if you are a crafter, if you like Stampin' Up! Products. Joining just to be a discount shopper, it's the way I started too, is a really great way to go. My specials this month, in February, my ordering specials, I have different thresholds. If you give me a $40 order this month and you use my host code, which I'll put up again on my desktop when I'm working, you get 4 card kits for free from me. You do need your own stamps, inks, and dies, but I cut out everything for you, and I will mail it to you for free for a $40 order. For a $50 order, you get the card kits and a surprise package of gems. For a $60 order, you get the card kits, the gems, and a free celebration pick at that $60 threshold. Then you qualify for picking something out of the Sale-A-Bration catalog. And I'm using two things out of the catalog today. I'm using the Bloom Impressions, this beautiful paper, and I'm using the heart-shaped bundle, which is not just for Valentine's Day. We'll talk about that. So there's lots of things in the Sale-A-Bration, and that will pop up on your computer when you hit that $60 threshold, and all the choices are right there, and you just pick the one you want added to your cart for free. Okay. If you get to the $120 threshold, oh, and you get 2 PDF files I have for you for free. Also, at $60. At $120, you get all that stuff, but now you get 2 free Sale-A-Bration items, or there's a few things that are at the $120 threshold, and one of them is the heart-shaped bundle, is at the $120. I'm going to share that with you today. It's a really great bundle. And if you get $150 order, you get all of this stuff above, and you get Stampin' Rewards. So do not use my host code. If you hit $150 before tax and shipping, you will automatically become the host, and you will earn Stampin' Rewards, which translates into, they'll tell you how much free product of your own choosing that you get. And they'll say, like, you get $28 worth of free product, or, you know, $30, whatever, you know, whatever. It depends on your order. But anyway, it is really a great deal. So this is my host code for this month that I would appreciate you using if you order from me, because then they for sure notify me when you order if you use my host code, and then I know to send you the card kits or any of the free items I just talked about for my February specials for this month. Okay. All right. So I am featuring today and next week this great little bundle called Everyday Arches, and this is an online exclusive. I have it linked below if you're on YouTube, and it's above if you're on Facebook. I think that's the way it goes. This is a really great bundle. These dies cut out arches, and there's 10 dies, 10 different sizes graduating in size, and they cut out these little arches. They also have stamps by the bundle. They also have stamps, and it says things like "Now you are loved," and you could put "Now you are loved so very much." It has some airplanes, "Embrace the journey," "Hello," "Thanks," "Reach for the stars." It has some birds and some little stars. "You are simply fantastic," "You are a ray of sunshine." It has a little balloon. So those are all the stamps that go and fit into the arches that go with this set, and I think you'll really enjoy the things we're making today. Another bundle, and this is a Sale-A-Bration item. This is called Heart Shaped, and of course, you know, it reminds you of Valentine's Day, but this bundle with the stamps, "My heart loves your heart," "Thank you," "My thoughts of you are all heart shaped," "Just because I care," "Hello," and it's got the stamp of the heart, and it also has dies of this heart, and a few dies for flowers and things, and it's got the flowers and the leaves that you can stamp and cut out, and a little sentiment die down here that fits with some of this stuff that's up here in the bundle. So those are two things that I'm focusing on. Another set I'm using today, I'm just using one of the, I think I used Happy Birthday. This is called With You in Mind. This is a very inexpensive stamp set because it's just stamps. And but I liked this set because they're really bold and it mixes fonts. I always like to mix fonts myself when I stamp things because I think it stands out a lot more. So I'm using a little bit of that, and I just used a little bit of this textured floral today. I just used a couple stamps out of here and a die, but I am going to be featuring this set with Everyday Arches next week. And this is such a useful set. This is in our annual catalog. It's called Textured Floral. Okay, so those are the things I'm going to be using today, and I'm going to pull out our first project. Got everything in. I put everything in one big envelope because I keep losing things. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to put them in little envelopes and then one big envelope, and I'm going to try to keep track of everything I need. So I'm going to pull out the stuff I need to use for this first card. Okay, this is a really pretty card. And as you can see, maybe you saw it on my Facebook page. If you looked, I posted it last night, the stuff I was going to make. I mean, this could be a wedding card. It could, it could be an anniversary card. It could be a birthday card, depending on who you're sending it to. But I've used the arches to cut things on the outside and on the inside. I usually like to cut paper before I write. And so I use the stamp set Know You Are Loved, which fits in there, and a bigger arch to go on the inside. And so that's the first card that we're going to make today. I'll pull out the pieces and parts, and all the paper and stuff that I used, I have linked below. The background paper and the little hearts, I used Country Lace, and I have this linked below, and it has lots of pretty colors. I used the petal pink and the gray in the card I made today, these two colors, and it also has a blue, and it has some different patterns, and it has this beige color also, yeah, and it has a white with a little like crumb cake on top. So it has a lot, and this is in the regular catalog, I believe. Okay, so this is Country Lace, and what I did is I started out with a regular card base. This is 8.5 by 11. Excuse me, 8.5 by 5.5. Sorry. And I just folded it in half at 4 1/4 to make a standard card. Then I cut this just a little bit smaller. This is at 4 by 5 1/4, and it's going to be my layer on top, my first layer. And I'm going to work on that layer first because I'm going to add things to it. Then I used some arches for my Everyday Arch set, and I forgot to write down which ones I used. For the outside, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number 6. I'm counting, when I count the arches, there's 10, and I'm counting from the outside. The biggest one is number 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5. This is 6. This is for the outside. And I cut 2 of them. I cut, because this DSP is kind of thin, it didn't hold up well the way I wanted it to, so I just cut another one out of cardstock, and I'm going to attach those just together to make this a little stronger so that it can withstand putting stuff on top of it and still pop up the way I want it to. Okay, so I have that one. And that's number 6 that I die cut. And then for the inside, I did number 2. Arch number 2, the second largest one, to cut the inside piece. Okay, and I'll set that to the side for right now. So those are the 2 arches that I used, and I'm going to stamp on this one. So I'm just going to set an, oh, I embossed this one with our country lace, I think. Oh, eyelet, 3D eyelet, I'm sorry. I used this one, 3D eyelet embossing folder to emboss this top layer on the top of my card, 3D eyelet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere these 2, and of course there's stuff on the other side. And this paper, which is also linked below, is called Nature's Sweetness, and it has lots of pretty, and there's a lot of foil on this paper. But this one, I picked this one because it had some splotches on it, and it has some unreadable writing on it. Anyway, it makes a good background because it's not going to take away from what my focal point is. So that's why I liked this one from Nature's Sweetness, and that's linked below also, this item. Okay. So I take my Nature's Sweetness and I grab my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm just going to put just a couple of strips on there because I want to, it's easier if I hold it in my hand and kind of get it even before I press it down. And so that just gives it a little more sturdiness on that. Then I cut using the dies from Heart Shaped. I cut a couple flowers, and I used this die 2 times, and I cut from the paper that I'm going to put on the front. Now these strips are going to go on here. And the gray one goes in the middle, and it's taller. And the gray one is 4.5 inches long by 1 inch wide. And the petal pink one is 1 inch wide by 3 3/4 inch long. And these 2 are the same size. So this is 3 3/4 inch long. This is 4 inches long. Is that what I said? No, I said 4.5. 4.5 inches long. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing, when I attach to something that's embossed, because it's bumpy, I'm going to use glue, because it just gets into the cracks and crevices better. And so I'm just going to run my glue here, and I do want to get the edges a little better than I got it on the first card. Get a glue on all these. And I put my my outside ones first, and then I center the middle one, depending on where my outside ones fall. Okay. And I'm going to, while I've got the glue out, I need another one of these. I'm going to let these just dry a smidge, but I want these to dry a little bit more. I cut my hearts. This is Petal Pink, and it's a very pale, oh my gosh, I don't know how I did that. I have to look up. There we go. I'm sorry. I thought I switched us. I did switch us. There we go. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me go back. These are my strips, and I put glue on them. I am letting them dry just a little bit so they won't squish out the sides. And this is Petal Pink, and I cut one of my hearts just out of Petal Pink. Okay. And I cut the other heart out of this same country lace paper that has a pattern on it. So there's a slight pattern on this, and they're going to be layered together. So I'm going to turn these over, and I'm going to get some glue on these because I definitely want this glue to dry a bit, and I want it to dry for a few minutes. So I'm just going to quickly go through here and dot my glue on because I do want all these little pieces to stick. And it gets kind of clear, but it's still tacky. I mean, it can, I've left it actually for like up to 30 minutes. And I thought, oh, it's going to be too dry, but it wasn't. It stuck down really good. So I usually try to pay attention and only do about 7 minutes. That's about a really good amount of time to let it dry. And by doing it on this silicone mat, it doesn't matter that I'm getting it a little bit off of, not exactly on all the little places on the paper, and it might be going off. It's gonna come right off of that silicone mat. These silicone mats are inexpensive in my online store, and they are well worth the money to invest in these just so you can do your gluing projects. And see, now I've got all the glue on, and I'm just going to let this set to the side while I put this other stuff together. So like I said before, I magically turned us not facing the tabletop. I'm going to take my two pink ones, Petal Pink, and I am going to glue them down, and I'm going to do the outside ones first. And these are 1 inch by 3 3/4 inch. And then I take my gray one, and it's longer. It's 4.5 inches long and by 1 inch. And I'm going to glue that down in the middle and just make it kind of equal in there. Okay. Press that down. Yeah. My first card I made, I didn't get it. I didn't get the glue quite to the edge as well as I wanted. So I tried to make sure on this one that I got the glue more to the edges so that these will make a good seal. So that's what it looks like. This is going to be my background. Well, this is going to be a background too to my focal point. So I've already glued. I can't remember when my camera flipped back. I glued the designer series paper to a piece of cardstock, so it would just be a smidge more sturdy to hold my focal point. So I am going to use some dimensionals. And I like to use tweezers. And I put one up here, I put them on the side, and I put them on the bottom. So this will hold down really nicely, and it'll be popped up. And I just take this and center it, press that down. So, and this writing on here, you know, it's not legible. It's kind of here and there, but then it's got the splotches on it, and it just makes a really nice, interesting background, and it goes with nicely with the country lace that I've got behind here. So now I go back to my hearts, and I've been letting these dry for a little bit, so you can see now that the glue is starting to get clear, but it's not totally dry. So I start with the petal pink one, and I put that one down, and you can move it around a little bit. Okay, and it goes over the edge a little. It's okay. Everything's going to stay within the confines of the card. And then this other one I cut, and it's petal pink too, but it's the country lace, so there is a bit of a pattern on that. And I don't want this to be right on top. I want it to be a little offset. So I'm going to go just like a little bit lower. You can go a little bit lower, a little bit higher, and put it down so that you've got layers of the heart. Then I also cut some flowers. Oh, there's one. Okay, cut. This one's the petal pink. I cut one petal pink flower, and I cut a country lace flower that I had a minute ago. Well, we'll just cut another country lace flower. Anyway, I'm going to set this right here. Hopefully I'm not hitting the camera again. I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss machine. And I'm going to grab a piece. Good, I have a small piece. I just use these clear envelopes to stick my small pieces in so I don't lose them, and then when because I don't want to cut this out of a large piece. I just want a small piece of this country flowers. And I'm just going to put it in my mini cut and emboss machine. Tell I'm going to have to wipe my hands off because I've been using glue. Just crank that through. Ooh, I cracked my board. Grab another one. There we go. Sometimes they stick. Okay. There's my other flower now. I'll find the other one, of course. Put this back. Okay. So I'm going to glue these two flowers together and then put the petal pink on the bottom. I'm just going to put a dot of glue. And then I'm going to place this top one, but I'm going to turn it so so it's not directly on top, so that now it's filled in, and all the flowers are just offset a little bit, and it's filled in. And I'm going to grab some mini glue dot or mini dimensionals. Man, I'm not doing very good today at keeping track of stuff. There they are. Mini dimensionals. These are the small ones. Or if you only have large ones, you can cut them. They cut really easy, but cut them on the paper that they come on, and then pull them off. So I'm going to put that on. And I am going to, before I put the flower on, I'm going to put the bow on. And I use this really pretty ribbon. This came, it's in petal pink. It's called Scalloped Ribbon, and I linked it below with the number, with the link. It's petal pink, scalloped ribbon. It's really pretty. It comes with the Storybook Friends. Yeah, it comes with Storybook Friends. So there's always a front and a back to your bow. I'm gonna put some glue on this bow. Put a little dot of glue on there, and I'm just gonna put it over here. And then I'm gonna take my dimensionalized flower and put that there. And then I'm gonna use an iridescent pearl, which I also have linked. I'm going to put that right in the middle of the flower. Okay. So I've got my whole front panel done, just like that. I'm going to gently turn this over, and I'm going to go back to my regular sized dimensionals, and I'm going to put these on the corners and in the middle so the middle doesn't droop. And I'm going to add that to the front of my card base, my white card base. So this is going to be white on white with some petal pink. So it's very subtle, kind of elegant looking. That's why I said it's really good for an anniversary card or a wedding card, you know, that type of thing. But it's really versatile, this set. It's not just for Valentine's Day, and you can get it for free with your order if you would like that. Okay, so that's my front. Now, of course, you could always add shimmer spray. I didn't add it this time on my card because I thought it looked okay without it. Didn't really need, I didn't think it needed the shimmer spray because there's the gold on here and stuff, so it looked okay. So my arch that's going to go on the inside of my card, I chose, what did I use in there? Know You Are Loved. Yeah. So that's the one I chose. And I used my Misty so I get it just right. And when you're stamping arches, put them down in the corner of your Misty if you're using a Misty. And you put one magnet there and one magnet down at the bottom. Okay, so it'll hold it down. Make sure you put this face side down. And I decided to use the Smoky Slate, which matches the Smoky Slate right here on the front of the card. So I used the Smoky Slate ink. And I'll press this down, get that down good. And the advantage, of course, is that I can do this a few times till I get this Smoky Slate to be how I want it. And I use a pressure tool because it slides over easy. You can use your fist like this, but I don't know, that hurts my fingers after a bit, so I use a pressure tool. And I definitely want more ink. Didn't get it very good there, so I really am going to press right there. Okay, and that looks pretty good. And these magnets are really strong and will clink together. In fact, they'll even break if they clink together hard enough. So you have to be kind of careful with those magnets. They're very strong. And clean off your stamp before you put it back in your stamp case so you don't lose it. Set my Misty to the side. Wipe off my hands because I'm a little gluey right now. And bring my card back in. Put the glue away, and I'm going to just put some little pieces of Stampin' Seal Plus on the back of that. This will be very flat. If you want some images, there's some images in this set that you can use to stamp some images, or you have plenty of writing room, or you can, there's some other it says know you are loved. You could add so very much, embrace the journey, you know, it might be a birthday card or something. You know, you could stamp some other things if you wanted, or from other stamp sets. So anyway, that's card number 1. Oh, it fell off. The glue wasn't dry. Okay. So anyway, that's card number 1. I hope you like it. I think this is a really elegant card, and I can think of lots of different reasons. In fact, I have somebody in mind to send this to this week. So anyway, card number 1. Now card number 2 is super duper easy. It looks like this. And we're going to use several different things for this card. So we're going to use the Everyday Arches again. You can see the arch shape on here, and we're going to use this paper. Grab that. This is called Mixed Media Florals, and it's got lots of cool paper. And one of the pieces, well, it's got two of these pieces, has this border print, which I really liked. I really like this border print. You see, it's all over the border. Okay, so I cut it in half so it would be easier for me to use. So it's always 12 by 12. So I cut it in half so it would be easier to use to start with. And I'm looking for the corners to make this card using the border print. And I used, to make this card, I used the left-hand border. I used this over here and to cut the arch. And it naturally leaves a white space to put a greeting on the front. And the greetings are like super easy. You're going to love it. It's ephemera. So now I'm going to use the other half. So my other card that I'm going to do for you today, I'm using the print, the border print that's on the right. So it's just going to flip it, and my white space is going to be on the left instead of the right. I'll show you how that worked out. So I cut that down a bit, and I used the Everyday Arches again, and I used arch number 2 again. fits like this. And you need a piece that's about 4 by 5.5 to make the arch on this. And you kind of, you look at it and you decide, how much white space do I want? Do I want a lot of white space? Well, I want it to have this border go down and around and then leave some white over here for me to put my greeting. So that is what I'm going to do with this. Because this is bigger, it won't go through my mini cut and emboss. I have to use my big one. And so I put my arch down and I grab a little piece of repositionable tape because I want to hold that arch in position as I'm doing this. Want it to be kind of straight. I think I'm going to put 2 pieces of tape to hold that bottom so it doesn't wiggle. And I'm looking at the edges. Okay, so that's pretty good. So when you use the big machine, you need plate number 1, which is really thick. You need plate number 2. You need plate number 3, and I label mine bottom plate, top plate, because plate number 2 gets really scarred up from cutting. And your top plate, not so much, although I've accidentally cut things upside down occasionally, so then I get cut marks in it. But it's usually a lot better, and that's good because you don't want stuff cutting into or making an impression on whatever it is you're cutting on top of it. Thought I had to stand up to do this. Okay, makes clunkety clunk clunk clunk. So if I can pull this out, set this down, take it off. Sometimes cuts the tape too, but you have to pull your tape off, you know, gently so it doesn't tear the designer series paper, because sometimes it will. I should have stuck, because it was a new piece, I should have stuck it on my shirt first. Sometimes if you stick it on your shirt, you can get a little sticky off of it, and so it's not quite as sticky. And I probably should have done that, but I'm just going to be really careful pulling this off. And so I have my arch, and this was arch number 2. It's the second largest one in my 10 arches. And I still have this, and that would look just fine as a card too. It's just different. I'm going to have all of this at the bottom, and I have all this at the top where I can stamp greetings, or I'm going to show you how to use an ephemera pack with greetings on it. That's just really cool. So anyway, don't throw that away. It's still perfectly good. So now I have my arch, and have a card base. Let's see, what did I do with that? Pulled everything out of it. Oh, that's still in the envelope. Okay, I tell you. Okay, so this was basic white, 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at 4 1/4. So again, I'm using a basic white card base, and I'll leave that arch over there. And then this was from the Mixed Media Floral Designer Series paper 2, and this was just, it's really pretty on this side, but it's too busy to put this on top of it because this kind of gets lost. So I wanted the other side of this piece as my first layer, because it's not as busy and it doesn't detract from what I want my focal point to be. So I cut this 4 by 5 1/4, and I embossed it. And I know it's really hard to see. Maybe you can see it better on this side, but I used the Cane Weave 3D embossing folder, and so in person, whoever gets this card, they're going to be able to see the texture that this adds. They'll be able to touch it and feel it. That this Cane Weave embossing folder, and it's kind of like a cane weave in those cane weave chairs, you know, that you see, and it's that pattern, and it's really nice. It's kind of neutral. It doesn't detract from it too much. So that's what I'm going to glue down first, and I am going to glue this down because it's embossed. It will work a little bit better if I glue it down. So I'm going to pull back in one of my silicone mats, turn it over to the other pretty side, and I'm going to give this some generous glue. I want those edges to stick down, and then I'll put some in the middle. And I will glue this down. And the great thing about glue is you can slip it and slide it a little bit. Okay. And this goes together really fast. Got just a little bit of glue or something there. Take that off with my glue eraser. So this is going to go down on dimensionals again. Tweezers. So this is a much bigger arch, so I'm going to put more dimensionals on this. I'm going to do 2 and 2 and 2 and 1 right there to hold this up. I know that's a lot of dimensionals, but I don't want this to sag or drag. This makes such a pretty card, and it's not difficult. You're not using a lot of other product on this. And just center that and stick it down. Okay. Now you notice I didn't stamp on it. Now if I was going to stamp on it, I would definitely do that before I adhered it. But I'm going to use these really great, these are called Greetings for All Mix and Match Ephemera Pack, and that's linked below. Anyway, this is all this, these greetings. It's just greetings for all sorts of things. I mean, we have XOXO, to the Greg, congratulations, Happy New Year, happy birthday, oh, happy day, sending hugs, you did it. It could be anything. I put best wishes because I'm going to use this for a birthday card on this one, and I'm going to use a birthday card on this one too. So I'm going to pick out on this one, oh, happy day, because that's going to lend itself to being a birthday card too. And I just pop it right out of there, and I'm going to glue it down because I've already got that other piece popped up. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. Because it's an irregular shape, it's hard to get the tape on it. I mean, you can do it, but it's a little hard to get the tape on it. And so it's easier for me to use my tweezers, and I can get it placed better. Oh, happy day. Now you can add gems to this. You can even add ribbon to this if you wanted to, but I thought that looked just really good, just like that. It's just really, really easy, just using those everyday arches, because that gives you a nice visual. This is embossed, so it gives you some texture. It doesn't detract from the front. There is black and white, of course, in this paper. Everything's outlined in black, and so I thought that looked really nice. And then I cut another arch, and this is from Daffodil Delight, and actually the next card we're going to do is in Daffodil Delight, so all I did was I saved the piece from our next card because it's going to punch out this exact arch number 3. Okay, and remember I count from the outside to the end, so 1, 2, 3, arch number 3, and I just saved it for this card because I thought it would be fun. I'm going to make, like I said, I'm going to make this a happy birthday card. This one, I use the yellow arch and I put, "You are simply fantastic." This is still, could be birthday, you know, or whatever you want. Very, very versatile. Best wishes. You are simply fantastic. Just really, really great. So I'm just going to put this one down and this one. I already stamped it and I used that stamp set with you in mind that I told you about, that has those big fonts, and it mixes, you know, script with some just manuscript up here. This is called manuscript and this is script. So this one is easy to just, this arch, just to use the tape. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape on here quick. Put my happy birthday in here. Now there's not a lot of room to write on this one, but there's plenty of room over on this other side. If you really wanted to write something a lot, you could write over here, you could write on the back. But anyway, I thought that just made, because there's Daffodil Delight in the front of the card, the yellow, and so that's why I pulled it in the inside. Plus I had extra arches from my next card that I'm going to do, so I just thought, no, I'll just use it for that. So it worked out pretty well. Anyway, I love this set. It has white print on black. It has 2 of those, and they're all the same greetings. And then it has black on white, and it has even things like Merry Christmas, Thankful for You, Thinking of You, Sending Sunshine, Big Happy Birthday, and then it has 2 of these, so there's 6 altogether, 6 pages. Sorry for your loss, again, a Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, Best Wishes, Happy Easter, Thinking of You, Happy Mother's Day. I mean, like I said, super versatile. They look great. They look good on the card. They look very, very neatly done, and I think they really add a lot using these this mixed ephemera pack. Greetings for all, mix and match ephemera, and I link that below my video. Okay, last card. This is another easy one. Well, it's pretty easy. Again, I use the arches. Let me get some of these notes out of here. You don't need all the notes. Okay, this one uses Daffodil Delight, and that's where I got this arch that I used on that previous card that we just made, that I used it in the center. And the paper I used is Bloom Impressions. This is the Sale-A-Bration item that you can get for free with a $60 order, and I've gotten a few packages of this because I just love it. And I made it with the yellow, with the Daffodil Delight, but I noticed that this piece, I could have also put this piece in there because it has Daffodil Delight, and it would have picked it up and it would have made it really bright and colorful. So that would also go. So there's many choices in here in this paper pack. They have, you know, there's melon mambo, and there's blueberry bushel, there's the predominantly yellow. I used this in an earlier video with the purple, fresh freesia, and corals, and of course they all have something on the back too. And here's another pretty one. This is with Summer Splash is the green, and melon mambo, and other more muted colors. Anyway, it's a really pretty paper pack. It's very versatile, very spring-like, and it makes some really pretty cards. So that's where I got that. So this is the card, and I cut an arch here out of the front. It's like a window, and then you open it up, and you can see this from the front, of course, but you can open it up. You could just sign this. You don't have a lot of room to write, or you could write on the back. You could put stuff on the back if you want. You could put a piece of white cardstock on the back. And I did, because this colored cardstock is a little thinner than the white, I cut an extra piece to glue or tape into the inside of it to make it doubled and to make it stronger, so that it didn't like wave in the wind like thing. I glued another piece down here. I cut the same arch out and glued it in there. You can see that. I did that just to make it a little more sturdy when I did this. Now this one, because I just glued a piece of designer series paper and then I put this arch on, it was plenty sturdy enough. But this one, I just felt like it needed something. It was really floppy when I first made it, because maybe because I added the flowers on the front, I don't know. But anyway, so I started out. I stuck those so maybe you wouldn't lose them. I started out with just with a regular card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I used arch number 3 to cut this arch. And I had to lay it flat like this to go through my cut and die and emboss machine. And I put my arch here to cut out that window. Okay. Then I took a piece of 4 1/8 by 5 7/16. I know it's really weird, but I want it to be a little bit smaller, but I still want the same size arch, because I want to glue. I cut the arch out, and I'm just going to save this to use for something else. But that's the size that I started with, the 4 1/8 by 5 7/16. And what I want to do to reinforce this is I want to pair up my arch so that the arch fits exactly. And I can trim off this piece on the bottom that's a little bit uneven. So I just turned this upside down, and I got my silicone mat, and I used some glue because that was easier than tape, because I do want all my edges and around the arch to stick, and I want the edges to stick. This is just going to reinforce some things that I got. So take this and I turn it over and I match up my arches. That's what has to match, is the arches. And they're cut from the same arch, so they should match up pretty good. and I glue that down. But I did have a little bit of paper sticking out. So I just took my long scissors and I'm just going to cut along that edge and trim off the inside arch. And it's just, you see, it's just a little ribbon of cardstock that I had to cut off. But it does give more stability. You might have to use your bone folder to crease that down again. And you don't, when you glue it on, one of the reasons it was smaller is I don't want to glue in the fold. I want to stay a little bit, just a smidge outside that fold so that it still will fold evenly. Okay. Then I used my Daffodil Delight Designer Series paper, and I cut this 4 by 5 1/4, and I can just use tape because I want this to be flat. And I center this. Again, I don't want to hit the fold, and I want to leave a little border. And I glue that down. Okay. So now I've got my window, and I can see my Designer Series paper inside of that. I gotta adjust my camera just a little bit. Okay. So then I just had a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of white paper, white cardstock, and I used arch number 6. So again, I'm counting from the outside, and I'm getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I used arch number 6, and I cut it out of the white. And I can get 2 arches out of this piece of this size. I can get 2, so I'm going to save that. Or I could just cut those arches to begin with. And I'm going to pop this up, but before I do, I am going to stamp on it. And I go back to my Everyday Arches, and like I said, it's out of stock right now. It's well worth the wait. It'll be back in stock next Monday. And I put "You Are a Ray of Sunshine," and I used pumpkin pie because pumpkin pie is one of the colors. It's the orange that you see in here. That's pumpkin pie. And remember, on the back of the paper, it always tells you, on any Designer Series paper we make, it tells you all of the colors that are in that paper. It doesn't always list white, because a lot of times white's in there, but they don't list it. But they'll tell you all the colors that are in there, and pumpkin pie is one of them. So I want to pull out some of that pumpkin pie. I think I've got enough yellow Daffodil Delight going on. So now I want to pull in some pumpkin pie. So I'm going to pull back my Misty again to stamp this, and I'm going to put it down at the bottom. And I'm just going to use one magnet this time because it's a lot smaller. Use this one without a tab on it. And I lay my words down. And you can adjust these photopolymer stamps. You can kind of push them in, pull them out a little to get them to fit the arch the way you want it to fit. Press that down, and get my pumpkin pie. Get this back in the frame, back in the frame. Okay. Pressure tool. And this is a new ink pad, so it's a little juicier. I might do it one more time just to make it a little darker. close my ink pad so I don't get my fingers in it. And I'm going to clean off my stamp and put it back in my case, because I can't tell you how many times I lose things. Stop with my hands because I got a little glue on them again. Okay. So there's my greeting for the front and the inside, all at the same time. I'm going to flip this over, find my dimensionals underneath my piles over here. I'm going to put one at the top, sides and bottom. This is a smaller arch, so I'm not going to worry about the middle. I think it's going to be okay. And I like to, let's see, I'm going to close this so I get it in the center of this. And try to, yeah. Okay. So then I used, I had a little butterfly from another set, so I cut a little butterfly. I cut the big flower out of textured florals, and I cut it out of, I used some of this this DSP for all this. For the butterfly, for the flower, for the little flowers that were from the heart shaped that we used earlier. And I stamped in pumpkin pie in this set. When I cut out the flower, I used this smaller one, and I had a little flower middle, the little stamens, so I got those and I stamped it in the middle for the stamens. Now on this one, I used the full pumpkin pie on DSP, which looks good too, but I thought I'd try something different, a little different for this one. So I just stamped the stamen, and I think it'll look okay too. And what I did was I put a little glue on this one, and I just put a little glue in the middle because it's going to go off the page a little bit. I want to keep it within the confines of the card itself, but I wanted to glue that down. And then I glued this one, and I could slip it a little bit underneath. I put a little glue in the middle and the back, one of them, and I slipped it behind. And on the other one, I popped it up with a small dimensional. And I brought back in my iridescent pearls, and I sent a lot of these out in December to people. I gave you a package of those for your orders in December. So I put just one little mini dimensional on the back of this flower. And put that one over here. And then I took some pearls for my big flower. I put a big pearl for my little flowers. I put the smaller pearls. That adds a little interest to them. And then I had my butterfly. I had a small butterfly from another set, and I'm just going to add a little glue and put him down here. I'm just going to put the glue on his body not his wings, because his wings are going to kind of be off the page a little. And I want to avoid my words, but I'm just going to put it on the body down there. So when the card's closed, you can see the butterfly, you can see the flowers, the message, you are a ray of sunshine. And like I said, you can write a little bit on here, but if you would like, you could put a piece of white cardstock 4 by 5 1/4 on the back and write some more if you'd like. And I would write first and then attach it with some either glue or some Seal Plus. But if you write on it first, then you don't have to worry about the bumps that you have from the dimensionals that are on the other side. Anyway, that's just a really easy card to do too with the arches. So we have these two, and you can either stamp your flower, and I'm sure you've probably got flowers. I just pulled that one because I'm going to do some cards with that with this bundled texture floral and with the arches. Next week I'm going to do some different designs and show you how to use the arches in different ways. But this is in our annual catalog, and it's one of my favorites. It has really nice greetings, and these stamps and dies, they turn out really good, and I'll show you that next week. And it goes with a lot of different paper. So yeah, it's great. So those are the cards that we made today. So those two yellow ones, and we made with the ephemera that we had, and then this mixed media floral paper that's already printed, already colored. You don't have to worry about it. And you'll notice, if you watched me last week, I said always leave a little bit of white space when you're coloring. They leave a lot of white space when they color, and it looks good. And they're even kind of messy with their coloring. They don't hit the spot exactly, and it looks okay. It looks good. It looks watercolory. You know, I like that kind of that style myself. When I'm doing watercolors, I do kind of a messy watercolor a little bit. I don't stay in the lines on purpose, and I think it looks pretty good. And then our first card that we made with the hearts, that's that one. So I hope you enjoyed this today. Let me flip back to the top. There we go. Okay. I hope you enjoyed these cards today, and I included my email, my phone number, or if you have questions. I think, because I've been doing it for a few years now, so I think I have most of it figured out. It's really pretty self-explanatory when you go on the website to order, and you set up your online account and you pick your own password and stuff like that. And we're never informed of any of those things. We just get to see what you ordered, you know, and if you're qualifying for any of my specials that I offer each month. And I think in April 1st, they're changing the Stampin' Rewards thing, and you are going to start earning Stampin' Rewards for every $20 you spend, and you get to save them up, accumulate them for up to a year from your original order. And so you can, if you'd like to spend them right away, you can. And if you would like to accumulate a bigger amount so you can buy something that's more valuable, you know, that costs a little bit more, you can do that. So it's kind of exciting that you're going to start, the customers are going to start being able to get the Stampin' Rewards much earlier. It's not going to be that $150 threshold thing that they have right now. The threshold's going to start at $20. So that's very exciting. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll be back next week when we're going to do some more everyday arches. We're going to do some more of this. Whoops, I can never go the right way. And we're going to do the textured floral. If I can get that without a shine on it. And we're going to do the textured floral. And flowers are my favorite, in case you haven't noticed when I do cards. But I do other things too. I do other things. I do masculine stuff too, and I'll do some of that pretty soon too. So thank you for joining me. I hope to see you next